Why Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the best Shrek film. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about why Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is the best Shrek film. Let's get right into it. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, starring Antonio Banderas as the swashbuckling feline for the second time, is by far the best Shrek film in the last 20 years. In this sequel to Puss in Boots, the normally cocky Puss, whose 9 lives have allowed him to face numerous dangers with confidence throughout the Shrek franchise, finds his nerves shaken to the core when he discovers he only has 1 life left. What results in a stunningly animated film about arrogance, the meaning of death, and ultimately, the pursuit of a life well lived. Overall, the Shrek films have vacillated between great and underwhelming, with a recent trend toward returning to what made them compelling ensemble pieces in the first place. Puss in Boots, introduced in Shrek 2, has become a symbol for everything wrong with the Shrek films, which will need to be influenced by his brand if they are to regain their former glory. Shrek 4 was released over a decade ago, leaving Puss and his films to carry the franchise, while Shrek 5 is still in the works. Shrek 2 improved on everything clever and magical about the first film, and Puss in Boots 2 does the same, making it the best in the franchise since Puss was introduced. Rather than realism, it focuses on its poignant themes and a stylized storybook approach. In that sense, it takes on a mythical quality not seen since the early Shrek films, before they became non-stop pop culture reference generators. With Puss in Boots 2 reversing a Shrek rule and forcing Puss to confront his past, his story can take on new meaning. Since Shrek 2, when jokes, callbacks, and references began to dominate the story of the big green ogre and his pals, the franchise has suffered from a lack of poignancy and dramatic weight. While the characters adjusted to new statuses within the kingdom, the themes of prejudice and intolerance should have given way to new themes about fitting in, but instead, the movies have become complacent. Puss in Boots 2 tells a specific story, and while it does so with humor, it also has a message at its core. Puss in Boots 2 corrects the Shrek flaw that revolves around the franchise's surly main character. What was once a story with a large ensemble cast full of endearing supporting characters became the Shrek show, with fewer and fewer opportunities for his friends to make an impression. To make matters worse, each new Shrek film introduced more and more fairy tale characters, with a few throwaway lines until only Shrek remained. When every Shrek film retreads familiar ground without focusing on new narratives within all of its world building, it became tiresome. As the Shrek films became less inspired and failed to capitalize on the core cast, the Minion franchise dethroned it as the most popular animated film franchise of all time with its lovable little heroes. In some ways, the franchise's only future lay in spin-offs starring beloved characters such as Puss and their dedication to the unique storytelling that the franchise was once known for. Shrek was a groundbreaking film that pushed the boundaries of animation while also satirizing traditional fairy tale tropes. Puss in Boots 2 follows in that tradition, drawing inspiration from its predecessors while telling its own story. There is hope for the Shrek franchise after all, thanks to the winning formula provided by Puss in Boots 2. From a business standpoint, Shrek 5 is unavoidable, demonstrating that there is still a hungry audience for more films starring the legacy characters. With Puss in Boots 2 ushering in the franchise's return to form, another Shrek film could be on the way after a decade-long hiatus. Even though the last few Shrek films haven't been as successful, focusing on what's new and innovative with the IP may help its overall longevity. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is an underdog that outperforms the odds, thanks to its strong voice acting, heartfelt message, and gorgeous animation. Antonio Banderas and Mike Myers have spoken out about Shrek 5, and if it is made, it will need to learn from how Puss in Boots 2 revitalized and re-energized a stale franchise. Who knows, the Shrek films may have more lives than fans believe. The Shrek franchise has always been a case of diminishing returns, never reaching the all-star heights of the original, which is itself of questionable overall quality. This was nowhere more evident than in the spin-off film Puss in Boots, an extremely ugly and unfunny romp best left as a forgotten footnote of DreamWorks' animated output. However, DreamWorks Animation appears to be having a very good year, beginning with the surprisingly fun heist antics of The Bad Guys, and now with the Puss in Boots sequel, The Last Wish, which is so visually striking and narratively engaging that it seems unfair that the Shrek franchise took 6 films to get here. Puss, reveling in his legendary status as an invincible hero, comes to the harrowing realization that he has burned through 8 of his 9 lives, exposing him to the possibility of permanent death. Puss withdraws into bearded, depressive reclusion after an encounter with a threatening and ominous bounty-hunting wolf, where he attracts the unwanted friendship of a nameless therapy support dog. This seclusion, however, does not stop the Three Bears crime family, led by Goldilocks, from tracking Puss down in the hopes of hiring him to find the map to a lost wishing star. That's all for today, and we'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.